Actually, I don't have time to talk right now. I've got a doctor's appointment. My blood has got to be magnificent because God, every time I go to a doctor's office, they got to have some of it. So that's one painful thing that I've got done today that I have to do. One down, one to go. Well, I guess that's done too. I was, through no fault of my own, introduced at a very young age to politics. I have memories of my dad sitting in his chair watching the evening news. And after the news would go off, he would switch to PBS because there was a news program that was talking about the latest developments in an event called Watergate. I knew what water was and I knew what a gate was. So I thought maybe this was about some kind of a dam. And so I asked Dad, and he tried to explain to a very young child the best that he could about what was going on. I can't say that at that age I was fully able to understand exactly what was going on, but what I do know is that the first president of the United States that I ever knew about, Richard Nixon, was, to borrow a term from the boomers, being run out of Washington on a rail. And for a lot of us Gen Xers, that is the first memory that we have about the United States government. One difference, they say, between Gen Xers and millennials is that Gen Xers remember a time in the world before the internet and after, where millennials grew up with the internet. It can also be said that a similar difference between boomers and Gen Xers is that boomers do remember a time when the U.S. government was trusted and respected. It was only later on that they saw that change. We Gen Xers, we grew up in it. But I have never seen the government to any degree be as invasive in our lives as it is now. Sure, there were Republicans and Democrats, but it was almost in a way like your favorite football team. Sure, you might get some interesting, spirited conversations at Thanksgiving, but politics was never a situation that was going to determine whether or not you went to Thanksgiving. But now politics determines so much about our lives, the people that we're friends with and we follow on social media, the type of entertainment that we follow, the movies that we watch. Hell, people don't even watch superhero movies anymore unless the politics are just right. Now, I'm not saying that I want things to go back to the way they were in the old days, although that is a grandpa kind of a thing to say, but no, there was a lot of things in the past that they need to stay in the past. In fact, there's some things in the present that I wouldn't mind to be in the past. Seems to me like there used to be a time when a person's politics didn't determine whether or not you thought they were a decent human being. There was a time when people of different parties felt like they had more in common than they had differences. But these days, people don't see people from the other party as even people. Now, I know this is the part of the video where I'm supposed to give my brilliant, well thought out solution to this problem. And I wish I had one, but I gotta be 100 with you. I don't see a solution to this problem. I don't see anybody who could come up with a solution to this problem wanting to solve it. Because the first thing we're all gonna have to do is turn off the internet. I'm not saying that the internet is completely to blame for all the polarization that's going on in our country through politics. But I ain't saying that it ain't. And I could do a massive deep dive on the internet and the role that it's played with how our politics have shaped over the last 2 to 3 decades. The algorithm alone has put us in a bubble to a degree that we think that everybody thinks the same way that we do. And that's not a good thing. But we're not going to see any changes in the internet anytime soon because right now it's working exactly the way that certain people need it to work. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, let me give you a hint. If you can put people in boxes that they are strongly emotionally tied to, boxes that they use to define who they actually are, and you know and understand those boxes, or maybe even help to create them, once you know all that, you can sell those people anything.